Long ball number 2 for the day, peeking across to the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Our American friends at AC Milan took another loss. Christian Pulisic did get the start in this game, back on the starting lineup, subbed out after 70 minutes, but again, this slide from Milan, they were looking like contenders for the Champions League, but each result making that more difficult. This time, they lose at home to a late winner from Lazio.
Yeah,
direct competitor for those European spots.
You had a penalty that ultimately turned out to be the difference in this game. Okay, so a couple of things. Obviously, just from an American perspective, it's good to have Christian Pulisic back in the starting lineup.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all calm down. Okay, now look, his form is not great right now. It's not, but then again, the team is struggling, right? The entire squad is struggling. I don't know if Milan has the stomach for making another managerial change. So they fired Fonseca and installed Conceição, and there was a moment there where it looked like things were coming together under Conceição, and now it's all gone sour again. Like, I don't know if they have a stomach for another change. Obviously, that wouldn't be great for our Americans, Pulisic and Yunus Musa, of course, also at AC Milan. The game itself, though, I mean, obviously, you give up a goal, you get an equalizer, you're thinking, okay, at least we can get a point out of this. We haven't played well, but maybe we can get a point. And then the penalty. And I'm not an AC Milan fan outside of supporting the American players there. Okay, it's not important to me whether Milan succeeds, other than it's good for our Americans at Milan if they do, right? Which I guess those are kind of tied together in a way that almost does make me an AC Milan fan. How can I say I'm not a fan or I don't care about their success or failure if them succeeding is only it's so important to whether or not Pulisic and Musa kind of get praised and get success and feel good and go into the national team confident and all those things. But you had two things happen. You had the red card, which, what are you doing? Be careful. That's a bad challenge. It's not the worst challenge we saw this weekend, but it was a bad challenge. And then the penalty. And my issue with the penalty, Rob, is we have a lot of these. The goalkeeper's coming out, right? The goalkeeper's sprawling, going down, arms up, trying to make himself big. Now, did he clatter into the attacking player? Did he foul the attacking player? Yes, I guess he does. I mean, again, this is a subjective thing. Where's the ball when that contact occurs? It's nowhere near the attacking player. He's given up control of the ball. He's pushed it so that it's about to go over the end line. It's not quite over the end line when contact is made. And man, it doesn't feel right exactly. Even though that's the law, it doesn't feel right exactly that a penalty that decides the game is given when that happens. When you're not denying okay, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't push the ball away if the goalkeeper's not coming out to make contact with him. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like, I imagine if you're a Milan fan, you're not happy with Conceição, you're not happy with the form, you're not happy with that call, you're not happy with anything right now.
Yeah, it's all kind of crumbling a bit there. And other notable fact about Americans in this Milan-Lazio game, Yunus Musa subbed out after 37 minutes for João Felix. Not a good look for him. And when it looked like he was rounding out into some form, but clearly not over this last weekend. So worth keeping a note. And you're talking about, does Milan have a stomach to make another change? It's, as a general rule, anytime you're making, you have a third manager within one season, things are not going well. And there is not really any success to be had on a third manager in a season.
Right. And yes, right. What is the ceiling when you do something like that? Right? Like, it's so easy to kind of go, well, we have to make a change. Things are bad. When you're a club like Milan and you have ambitions and you're not meeting, they're not even coming close, right? Like, it's the death spiral. I'm going to call this a death spiral. It does feel, for this season, it feels like Milan is spiraling. And so is it stay the course, give Conceição faith, he'll figure it out, or, well, that's a sunk cost fallacy issue. If we continue to roll with Conceição, there's no guarantee it gets better. We can't just keep him because we've already fired one manager and we brought in somebody else, and your brain tells you you've got to stick with the second guy. I mean, I don't know. And if he's making decisions like pulling Musa off, and we don't have any word of an injury, right?
No.
We don't have any word of an injury. If if that's a panic move, right? What manager makes a first half substitution before he's got 9 minutes before he gets to halftime, 9 and change, and his instinct is I got to get João Felix on the field, I guess. And again, how many times are we going to go back to this well with João Felix until somebody looks up and goes, you know what, it ain't working. He's not the guy.
He's not actually
He's
getting
not the
any
guy.
results. Yeah. So when Conceição took over at Milan, it seemed like which level of European competition will Milan, qualify for? But now they've slipped all the way down to 9th and quite a few points out of the running there. Moving on to long ball. Oh, you got another point before we move on?
I'm going to put this in the chat. I'm going to put this out for the chat and for our listeners, and hit us up in the comments on this video. Which club would you rather be a fan of right now? If not a fan of one of these clubs already, AC Milan or Manchester United? Which club feels like a better place to be right now based on what's happening in their seasons? I'd be curious to see what we get. Go ahead.
Similar places with do they move on to yet another manager? They're both dabbling with those things. Very clever there.